I was riddled with anxiety. I didn't really want to go out a lot. At any opportunity, I'd be like, Scott, can you go to the shops, go to Tesco? We moved house not too long ago, and Scott got me a weighted blanket.
Oh, they are heaven.
They are incredible. If you're going through a tough time.
They're so good.
The Euros, I enjoyed the next week and really enjoyed celebrating with the girls, because I think after 22, I realised we might not ever get this moment again of celebrating like this. So enjoy it for what it is.
Wait for the door to properly shut.
This is only my second podcast.
What? Wait, your first one was Jamie Lang?
Yeah.
I listened to that
Before the wedding.
Newlyweds.
Yeah,
so
I enjoyed that actually.
It was so good. It's always so interesting to interview lionesses. We've had several of you on now, and it's just been the most amazing cultural shift seeing women's football get to its rightful place, for people to be talking about it en masse, for it to be mainstream, for young girls everywhere to be inspired in this way. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's so special. I'm grateful for the position that we're in. The ones that came before us to leave the shirt in a better place for us, and now our job is to do the same for the future generations. But to be part of special teams is incredible, and to be led by an incredible manager in Sarina. But I think everyone sees the glitz and the glam, and there's so much hard work and sweat and tears that go into it. So yeah, I think it's great to see the rewards now, and inspiring so many, not just young girls, but young boys as well, and really changing the mindset and a shift in culture for how people see women's sport and women's football. And I think that's the biggest thing. It's a shift in women's sport right now, and seeing what the Red Roses done this summer was so special as well. So I think the women's sport is on the up, and we can really celebrate together women doing great things.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, it is on the up, but there is still disparity. You know, men's football is still overly celebrated and watched. Do you feel, is there an anger there? Is there a resentment there? Or are you just happy to see that you're on the ascent?
Yeah, for sure. I enjoy watching men's football too. I think it's incredible to learn from the guys as well. And I think they celebrate our success too. So I think it's great that we can have alignment together. And I think within sport, you do your job and you want to do well. And now we have so much success, and I think in 22 the success allowed us to have a voice within society, and we changed the mindset of so many, but also we allowed girls to have more opportunities in school, in PE lessons. And I think that was an opportunity for us to use our voice after having such success, because we probably didn't have that voice previously, but hosting the tournament was incredible to be able to use that voice. And then from then on, I think it was a change in mindset, a shift in that, and being able to be part of that was so special. And from then on, it felt like we were untouchable as lionesses, because actually we'd done something in, not just in sport, but in life, that we can be proud of.
Yeah, I mean, that summer was it was such a moment. We had Leah on not that long ago, and I was talking about this. You know, I sort of grew up with football being very much in my world. My dad and brother were football mad, so it's always kind of been there. But it was never kind of it didn't feel like it was for me. I played a little bit at school, teeny bit, but then seeing the Euros in 2022 and watching just how skillful you all were, how gracious you all were about that win, and how you moved through that whole tournament was so inspiring. And that final game, I had goosebumps all over. It felt like this kind of primal reaction I was having to watching the game, just seeing women excel and on a global platform like that. It was just the most exceptional moment.
Yeah, it was so special. I think hosting the tournament, and we blocked everything out whilst in tournament, so you don't really see the craziness of the tournament. And I think coming out of it, it was, wow, like we've changed something here. And the final was probably that pinch me moment of going to Wembley, selling out Wembley, and seeing people on the Wembley steps pre-game and welcoming us to the stadium. I think that was so special for us, and I think that was an eye-opener of, wow, like we've changed the sport now, and we're able to fill Wembley and I think that was a real special moment for all of us. But I think what it done was shift mindsets of so many that maybe might not have watched a game before or wasn't bothered about the game, but also people that didn't care, but also cared that we were successful. They didn't
Yeah.
care enough that we were doing great. They just cared that, yeah, women here are successful. And it shifted mindsets in terms of there's some people that actually, well, yeah, they are here to stay. But then I think it frustrated many people in terms of, yeah, it was seeing women do well. Some people don't like that.
Yes, well, we know that
Yes.
in this world that we live
Of
in.
course.
Hence why I think the people that are supporting you, women, are just like, come on, you've got this. And also to score the winning goal. I mean, how do you deal and process with a high like that and then coming down the other side of it? Because there's always a down at the other side of a big high.
Yeah, I think for me, pre the Euros, I was injured for 11 months. So my mindset was I want to be at the tournament. So to be there was incredible. I fought so hard to get there back from my injury, an ACL injury, which is so tough. So to be out for 11 months and set your goal on something that seems so far away, just to be at the Euros was an absolute honor. But to then step onto the pitch, every time you represent your country, it's a huge honor and you step on with such pride. So to go on the pitch at Wembley, and I just wanted to win so badly. I'm a really bad loser, so I was just like, I just want to win. And yeah, I remember we win a corner and I say to Lauren Hemp, like, let's make this count. And my big toe, I remember just swinging for it, missing the first one and then poking my toe to it, and a whole whirlwind of emotions, not just scoring against Germany in the Euro final, but actually like feeling like I've achieved something in terms of back from my injury. And yeah, I felt so much emotion in that moment, and to be part of a special team that went on to inspire so many. It was a proud moment. And to see my family in the stands when I celebrated, I think everything just seemed like a pinch me moment, like wake up, Chloe.
I bet. But I mean, there have been so many now. You went straight into the World Cup pretty soon after that, and you're in the finals again as the runners-up in the World Cup. How do you sustain, like you were saying there, you keep so focused during a tournament like that, and they're lengthy, certainly when you get to the final. You know, you are in this for the long haul. How do you keep that level of focus and discipline? Does it become sort of more tedious or tiring as you get through the tournament?
I think the environment that we create helps you to just stay focused throughout and switch off as well.
Yeah.
We had a lot of time in that 22 Euros. We was going out on boats along Kingston, along the Thames, and I think just going for walks. And then it was COVID, so we wasn't allowed out too much after that. We had to stay in our bubble, but we enjoyed each other's company so much. We had like a basketball machine that you see in like the arcade. So we had that in there. The girls were watching Love Island, so we enjoyed each other's company a lot. And then to go on the pitch, then it was just do your job. Like we train hard, we train well, and the finishers group, as you call it, the ones that weren't starting the games, we had a really good group of, we'd go out and train and work hard, and we'd enjoy that competitive side so that when we can go on the pitch, we're all ready for a moment. So I think that was really important throughout the tournament, is just staying ready for a moment that you're called upon. And we was all able to do that as the finishers. And I think every tournament, that's what Sarina's able to do, get the finishers to be in a really good place when the moment is called upon for them to do so. So I think the environment that we create is incredible.
Yeah, well, it's got to be enjoyable, and there's got to be switch off moments. Otherwise, you would quite literally go mad, or you would burn out. You can't sustain that. I mean, you would then sort of straight into the next Euro competition afterwards in 2025 again. We all know that you won that again, and it was just the most incredible moment to see that happen. We had Sarina on the podcast again maybe a few years ago now, and she seems to lead in a very specific way that just works.
Yeah.
And it really works for you as a group. And it seems to be that her directness really helps and really works, but also the communication behind the scenes is really, really important. How have you found that dynamic?
Yeah, an incredible coach. You can learn so much from Sarina in terms of what she's achieved in her career, managerial career previously coming to the England team, but also the staff members around her. We have so many great staff members that people probably don't see that background work that goes in, but the directness of her, knowing your role, being able to play that role to the best of your ability. And I think that can change during tournaments. So it's knowing that. And I think that directness of knowing exactly what your job is to do. This is your strengths. This is what we can work on. And I think that's how, she gets the best out in the players, but especially me, just knowing that role is to do this. And when you come on, this is, and that can change. So knowing that, you're hungry for that, but I accept my role and I'll do that to the best of my ability. But I think Sarina's a coach where you can pick up the phone and give her a call and have a chat, but also she's someone that will be very direct and not just tell you what you want to hear, but tell you what you need to hear. So I think as a coach that I've really enjoyed working under, and she's been successful. So I think she's, incredible manager.
Yeah, you don't want people skirting around a big issue when it needs to be brought up, or a truth that needs to be told. In an environment like this, you need to cut to the chase, I'm imagining, and just know the thing.
Yeah, exactly. In tournament football especially, but I think she knows how to get the best out of her players, and you can see we all just enjoy playing under her, and it's a good group of girls. They're incredible. I spend a lot of time in my room, to be honest, because I like to switch off away from football. I FaceTime home, I FaceTime my family, and there's some girls that enjoy being with each other a lot more. So I think that dynamic allows us to be at our best.
Yeah, it's so brilliant.
Yeah.
Was she instrumental in getting your confidence back? Because certainly after you've had a big injury, like an ACL injury, and you haven't played for a while, I'm imagining you lose confidence to some extent. Like, you can play, you're an international elite athlete, like that is in your bones. But of course, when you've had time out or you're recovering, you're going back to square one in terms of levels of fitness, perhaps, or even integrating back into a team when you haven't played for a while. How was that sort of cultivating your confidence and getting it back on track?
Honestly, I'd never played under Sarina pre-injury, so she came in when I got injured. So I'd never played under her going into the summer. So selecting me for the tournament and selecting me in the pre-camps leading up to it gave me confidence, because I'm like, okay, she believes in me. She believes in what I did previously to my injury, and she believes that if I'm able to do that, then I'm in a good place. So just being selected gave me confidence. And then on out, I was able to learn from others in training, get fitter, get stronger throughout the summer. And I think that's allowed me to just improve as the tournament went on, because I had more training in my legs. I think my first game back in the team was April at City. So I didn't have a lot of game time before the tournament. So it wasn't a point of trying to get confidence in games. I think my confidence came from just the selection, and then throughout the tournament, learning and being around your teammates gives you confidence. But also, I think the competitive side, when you're in tournament, it's my first major tournament that I'd been at. It was like, no, I really want to do my best for the team. And you're representing your country at home Euros. You just want to do everything you can possible to win. So I think I was just a sponge. I remember sitting down with Jill and Demi and just trying to learn as much as we could, me and Lauren Hemp, and asking questions of Jill's first tournament, Demi's first tournament. And I think that was a real learning for us. We're learning as we go, because it was our first tournament for the likes of like me and Lauren Hemp.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, when you're playing football, or indeed any sport at this level, of course, there are massive highs and massive lows. That goes with the territory. I'm pretty sure every sports person out there will have experienced both. It's just a given. And so much of it is mental. Like, we can focus on the physical aspects and how you train and how your body will respond to that and how often you're playing. But actually the mental side of it is a whole other bag of onions, and something that I guess, again, dependent on the team around you, the manager, how you deal with the mental health side of it is going to be a bespoke situation depending on what you're going through and what you're feeling. And you've been pretty open about the downs and the times that you have struggled mentally.
Yeah.
Where are you at now mental health wise?
I'm feeling in a good place. I'm really happy. January was obviously a real turning point for me, coming back to London, coming back home to my family where I grew up and coming back to a club that I love in Arsenal. I'm forever grateful for the club. I'm forever grateful for Renee Slagers and giving me an opportunity to find happiness. But I'll be honest, I was in a really dark place, and I was for a while, to be honest. I think January was a turning point for me, but yeah, I struggled a lot, and I was riddled with anxiety. I didn't really want to go out a lot. At any opportunity, I'd be like, Scott, can you go to the shops, go to Tesco? So I think that was tough for me, and seeing myself, because I think I'm quite outgoing and things like that. But I think that's when you come away from sport and you're like, this is affecting my mental health. A game that I love so much, but actually it's affecting me in so many other ways. That's when you're like, wow, like I need to focus on myself here. And being able to speak up in January and be able to come back to London and find happiness. I think for me, it was about to take a step away from the game that makes me so happy. But you look after your body, you look after your legs when you recover from training. But actually, that was fine. It was my head that was struggling. I was struggling mentally. So yeah, to take a step away from the game was what I needed, but it wasn't that. It was I needed to take a step out of an environment and go to an environment which made me happy. So for sure, I feel in a good place now, but I'll never forget the times where I did struggle. And to struggle, I think it made me realize how good the highs felt as well. So you appreciate them a lot more, and the summer and the Champions League win. I think that allowed me to enjoy even more, because I know how much mentally it took to get to that point, and the people around me that got me out of that. And yeah, I remember my mom coming up to Liverpool where I lived at the time, and she'd come up for a few days and she's like, no, I can't leave you. Like you're not in a good place. And that for me, I was like, wow, like my mum's noticing it now. And I didn't want to speak up. I remember just going in the dark. And I got to a point in my anxiety where I couldn't get off the bathroom floor because I was just being sick. I tried taking the dogs for a walk, going for a walk late at night, colouring in. And it wasn't like an eating disorder or anything like that. And it was like a vicious cycle, because I didn't want to feel anxious and I didn't want to throw up. But when I felt anxious, I felt like I needed to be sick. And then when I started going to the psychiatrist, it was, this is the breathing that we can do, and these are the ways that we can get out of it together, and journaling and things like that. So I think for me, it was learning so much about my body at the time. But there was one occasion I remember where Scott got me off the bathroom floor and put me onto the hallway, and he was like, if you're in the bathroom, you will throw up. So we're going into the hallway and you're not just going to stay in here. So it was Scott literally just taking me out of the bathroom and being like, no, you're not going to do it. And it was, going through like the journal and trying to journal what was going on. And that helped me a lot. But my psychiatrist at the time, it was like we would log days where, it was a great day. And we did this one where it was what went well, what did I do today? Why? And like how did that make me feel? What does this say about me? And I think that allowed me to then be like, oh, no, I did this well today. And because I was trying my best to get out of the anxiety. It wasn't like I was doing it from a bad point of view. It was just trying to break.
You're trying to cope.
Yeah.
You're trying to cope. Anxiety is so all-consuming. You do whatever you can to cope. My situation is different, obviously, but I had bulimia throughout my 20s, and it is an incredibly hard cycle to break, or any habit that you know isn't serving you, that is detrimental, but you're in it, you're in the thick of it. Breaking that cycle is really hard.
Yeah, it's really hard. But when sport gets you to a place like that, it's like, why did I start the game? Because I loved it. But this is not what I love. I don't love how this is now making me feel. So I think that was a turning point for me of like, right, I need to remember why Chloe started playing football. It was for the great moments of winning, but it was also because I just loved having a ball at my feet and playing the game. But when it makes you feel a way that it's affecting your mental health, that's when I started to realize, I need to make sure I'm looking after my mind here. But for me, it felt normal at the time until January, when I was like, right, this is we can't carry on like this because I need to take a break. That was when I was like, right, this is a turning point. We need to change something because everything we've done from here on out isn't working. And I remember talking to a psychiatrist, and he was like, you need to make a change in your life because it's been going on for so long now that it's really affecting you. So that was, from hearing those words, I was like, okay, like, right, we're changing something now. So that was, speaking out and speaking up for what I believed in. And even when I, changed environments, still recognizing, right, it wasn't just mentally now. I started to, I recognized it, but beforehand, but wasn't accepting of, I started losing my hair, and I was like, no, like, I don't think this is acceptable. And it carried on. And I remember saying to Scott, like, I feel like I've got a bald patch in my hair. And he was like, no, like, it looks fine to me. I feel like he was making me feel better, but I was like, no, Scott, it doesn't feel right. And then I noticed on the other side another bald patch. And I was like, I think I've got alopecia. But I was too scared to speak to anyone about it. So I remember speaking to my mum, and I'm like, Mum, like, I've got a patch. It's starting to really get bigger. And she said, just speak to the doctors at the club and see what they can do. They'll be able to get you a cream or something. So I went to Dr. England and just said, like, my hair's like falling out, but it's also hurting, like, it's itching as well, like my head. And he said he'd try and find me some specialists. And I spoke with Arsenal, and I didn't feel at the time like I'd settled enough into the club to go with my problems. So I was trying to hide it. So I went to see a specialist, and she was amazing. And she told me that I had alopecia. And I was like, wow, now I'm seeing the physical changes that it's had to my body, not just mentally, but physically. So that was a tough time because you care about your appearance a lot. You care about, when I step onto the pitch, how I look. And
you want to feel confident.
You want to feel confident. And I remember my first game at Arsenal, trying in the morning of the game, trying to cover my bald patches on either side of my head. And that was a point, and I was like, wow, like, I'm out of an environment where it's made me feel so low, but now I can see how it did affect me. And it wasn't a nice place, but I feel in a good place now.
Yeah, I'm so glad. I mean, you had panic attacks around this time as well. That was something that came with the anxiety.
Yeah, panic attacks and having to call my mum, and I thought I was having a heart attack at times and not knowing what was going on with your body. But when my hair was coming out, I was just like, I can remember Googling, like, can I go fully bald? And that was the first question I asked the specialist. I was like, can I go? And she was like, looking at it now, like, no, but it takes 3 months you can see the change for 3 months after the highest level of stress. So it was for the next 3 months, like, waiting and seeing and putting creams. And now I look in my hair, and my hair's grown back. And I remember on camp just now, I had my hair in a pony, and I could see, like, my hair growing outwards in the pony. I'm like, oh, that's embarrassing. Need to get more hairspray on that. But I can see now, like, incredible things have happened since taking that step forward. But I think for women that are in a dark place, and anyone that's in a dark place, like, speaking up and speaking out is really important. And my journey, I'm very grateful for the highs and lows that have shaped me and allowed me to sit in this room today and speak to yourself, because actually I think those are the ones that you learn so much about yourself. I think
you do.
My ACL injury, I learned a lot about myself, but this definitely I learned way more of how I control what I can, and some things you can't control.
No, you can't. But I think when you see, like you did, I can make changes here. I can, whether it is breaking habits and cycles that are not working for you, but equally moving for environments that aren't working for you. And that's a big step for anybody. It could be people listening to this who feel like that about their workplace, their marriage, the location they live in. It's a big deal to do it. And also, it doesn't mean that instantly all of your problems go away because you've changed one thing. I think that's That's certainly been the hardest thing for me, is going, right, I've made the change. Why don't I feel great now?
Yeah.
Because of course it all takes time, and there can be a hangover with these things. Like, I don't really get panic attacks anymore. I mean, I'm about to counter that, but I used to get them frequently, like constantly. And I stopped doing certain jobs because of it. I couldn't do live radio or TV. I still haven't gone back to doing that because I just don't want to put myself in that position currently. But I'm pretty free of them. But then maybe a couple of weeks ago, sometimes they happen for me as I'm trying to get to sleep. And if I can't get to sleep, that's where I can feel like my heart starts going, the adrenaline's pumping, and I'm like, oh my God, it's the worst time to get it, because you're like meant to be super relaxed and feeling all sleepy. And, you know, I'll do a few things that I know will kind of help me get out of it. Or if I'm really bad, I'll have melatonin that I can take and just like, okay, I'm just going to shut my brain off for a bit. But have you had anything like that where you've gone, oh my God, there's the edges of anxiety there, I can feel them? Or do you think you're out the other side?
I feel in a good place. I feel like I'm out the other side. I remember we moved house not too long ago, and Scott got me a weighted blanket.
Oh, they are heaven.
They are incredible if you're going through a tough time.
They're so good.
They got me a lot out of my anxiety, just putting it around me. And we moved house not too long ago, and Scott was like, do you want me to bring your anxiety blanket? And I was like, no, I don't need that anymore. And I think that for me was like, I'm out of that, and that's not what I want to go back to. Don't get me wrong, there's times where I recognize some of the triggers and I start to then manage that a lot better. But for me, it's recognizing them triggers a lot better now, and I feel like I'm in a place where I'm really happy. I'm surrounded by amazing people. And I think now I've learned so much about myself and what it took me to get out of that. I never want to go back to that. But at the same time, I recognize the triggers a lot earlier.
So what have been the key things for you to get out of it? Because yes, you've moved environment and you know that certain things don't work for you. But what else has helped you ensure that you don't go spiraling back into that place?
I think speaking up and speaking out. I think when I do feel a little bit groggy and a little bit down, then I'll speak up and just nip it in the bud. And also I think for me, just surrounding yourself with good people. And I spend a lot of time with my family now. I'm back down south, so that makes me really happy. My nieces and my nephews as well. So
I bet you must have so many nieces and nephews. You're one of 7 kids?
Yeah, I'm one of 7. I think there's 10 now.
Crikey.
There's one on the way, just due just before Christmas.
You've got a lot of Christmas presents to buy.
Yeah, I definitely do. And I love just being around my family. So family is everything to me. So when I see them in the stands at a game, that is even more special than just stepping foot on the pitch. So I think those that made sacrifices throughout your career, like my mum and dad, I just really love seeing them in the stadium and putting a smile on their faces and seeing how proud you've made them. So for me, being around family. But also I think I'm just really happy. And I think for me, I felt around that time when I'm at my happiest, that's when I felt like the downfall was harder.
Yeah.
And like the anxiety. So just days after our wedding, I went out on a walk at 3:00 in the morning because I woke up with like having a panic attack, and Scott was like, this is like the happiest time that we've got. And I'm like, yeah, but I expect after something really great happening, boom, it to hit the ground again. So I think now I live like steady and not get too high with the highs, never too low with the lows. And I think for me, I realize, no, not after a high I'm gonna have a low. It's just gonna be steady sailing.
Isn't it interesting? I think when you feel like super duper happy or something really great is happening, and obviously you have that in extremes with, you know, if you're playing in an international tournament or just a big match that you care deeply about, it's a place of such vulnerability. It's a vulnerable thing to allow yourself to be happy because you know it's ephemeral, it's not going to last forever. It's on sand. It's like, oh my God, when's it going to go? And it's scary to allow yourself to go, I am just going to sink into this high and really enjoy it. Like you say, without expecting, and tomorrow I'm going to feel like dog shit because I've experienced such a high now. It's a real tricky thing to land on. I mean, say you're playing a game and you win, or you're just really happy with how you executed the game,
Yeah.
do you allow yourself that moment of, I am going to just feel so elated and I know it won't last, but I'm going to let myself do it?
I think for me, I enjoy the moment and then I try and move on as quick as possible. So, for example, the Euros, I enjoyed the next week and really enjoyed celebrating with the girls, because I think after 22, I realised we might not ever get this moment again of celebrating like this. So enjoy it for what it is. And then as soon as it's done, I can switch on to the next thing instead of worrying if something negative is going to happen after that. So I think for me, I enjoy that moment for what it is and able to then move on to the next thing very quickly and have my goals set on something else. Because when I enjoy the moment too much and then don't have focus on the next thing, I think that's when I start to think, right, is it going to be bad? Or so it takes it out of my control.
Yeah, I guess also having been in that place where maybe you didn't fall out of love with, but you started to feel like your football career might not be a given anymore because you just couldn't be in that environment. That is a horrible feeling when something that you love is actually a major part of your identity and has been with you since childhood. When that goes, that's a horrible feeling. Certainly when it goes prematurely as well, when you're still in your 20s. That is a big, big loss. I mean, like you said on that social media post you put out, that you just wanted to feel happy again. Was there a point where you thought, I might not ever feel happy again?
Yeah. And I think that was the risk that I took, not knowing when I could feel that happiness again. Don't get me wrong, being around my teammates, I love every one of them and I love being around them. And that was what was making me happy. But I think for me, when I got home, because I'd put on a brave face within an environment and I want to be the best teammate I could possibly be. And I loved being around the girls and that really made me feel happy. But when I got home, it was like my battery was worn out. So I got home and it was just like deflated. I'd go and have a nap and I'd go and sit in a dark room because actually it took a lot to put on a brave face. So for me, yeah, for sure, being around people made me happy. So I think now I still like to be around people to make me happy, but knowing when I need to take the step away to not have to put on a brave face as such, this is what I need to be at my best and learning on the way. I think knowing people that make you at your best and knowing when people don't, and it's just learning as you go through your career. But one thing I would say is my teammates that I was surrounded by throughout my whole career, but especially in dark moments, I'm forever grateful for.
Yeah, what amazing people.
Yeah.
And it's so important to remember those moments where you're loved, you are supported. I think when you're in those dark places, it's so easy to forget that and just think, I'm alone in this. No one's got my back. I mean, it seems like your husband's an amazing support to you as well.
Yeah, for sure. I think like the messages that I was receiving from the girls, just checking if I was okay. And that was like something that I'll never forget. And even when I took the step to Arsenal and being around the girls that I'd not seen for years, or that was special to me. But Scott and my mum that were on the journey throughout, I think I'll always be grateful for, because it was those that I was waking up at early hours in the morning for a walk, or just to FaceTime my mum, or my mum coming up and just spending more days with me than she was going to. So I think those are the ones that I'm very grateful for the most, that just seen the journey. I think there's people that obviously don't realise to what extent it went to, but even Scott just massaging the cream in my head for my alopecia. But those are the times that I'll never forget. And I remember one day I just seen him beaming with a smile and he's like, your hair's growing back. And I think the happiness it put on his face, because he knew how happy it would make me, that there was starting to be change within that. So for me, I'm just, surround yourself with good people and people that make you happy and people that make you feel good, but also those that will tell you, no, that's not good enough, Chloe, or no, I think you're being a bit of a prat.
Yeah,
I
God, you
think
need those
them
people. Oh,
yeah.
bloody hell. And it only needs to be a tiny group of people. It can be like 5 people that you know love you enough to be there in the darkest moments. But like you say, also the ones that go, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, exactly. No, and like that's when he took me off the bathroom floor, like, no, that's not happening. And
Yeah.
I couldn't get myself off there, but you will. And I think those are the times where you realise, right, this is the person for me. And yeah, I think we're literally just best friends. We do everything together. So I'm glad that we could look back on like our life, and he's been with me throughout the darkest times, but the highest times as well.
Yeah, it's so important.
For sure.
I'm so happy for you, and I'm genuinely thrilled to see that you're through the other side of it. I think it's, again, like you say, speaking out and telling your story is not only important because people realise they're not alone in whether it is an alopecia diagnosis, panic attacks, bulimia, whatever it might be. You feel so alone in it, and that's where shame can start to creep in, or self-loathing. I've been through all of that for sure. But I think knowing other people have been through it is so huge. But equally, to see someone through it who's now not totally drenched in anxiety is incredibly important, to know that it's not something that you have to be stuck in, and that you have got the opportunity to get out the other side of it.
For sure. I think any woman in a dark place, not just in sport, but in life, I think to see just around the corner from such a tough moment for me was a Champions League win and a Euro win, and enjoying life and really, really happy, not just putting on a brave face to be happy. It's actual genuine happiness. So I think that's a learning for me, to show any woman or any male that just around the corner from such a dark time was these incredible moments. So stick with it and speak up for what you believe in. It might not work out exactly how you want it in that moment, but it's my values and what I believe in. So I will speak up and I'll speak out. And I think that's the biggest learning for me, is hoping many more women and males in any walk of life are able to do that.
Yeah, too right. And where would you say your happy place is?
Honestly, at home with my dogs. My dogs and Scott, my door shut, and just sitting with my family. I think that is my happiest place on earth. And if any day off I can get, I will be sat on the sofa with the dogs and spending time with my family.
Mine is the same, but just replace dogs with cats.
With cats.
I could not be happier. Like, at the moment, I'm craving a night where I can just watch Home Alone 1 on the sofa. That's all I want to do. So happy in that environment. It's
perfect. But I think animals make you so happy, because no matter how your day's been, you go in and the joy when they see you, even if I've just gone to the bin, like they are so happy, and that just fills me with happiness.
Yeah. I mean, cats aren't quite as responsive. They're not going to be like wagging their tail. Actually, one of my cats is quite mean and looks at me like I'm a piece of shit. But
right. You need that sometimes.
You do. I've got a good balance between the 3 of them. But it is that unconditional love is unbeatable.
It's so special. And we actually get to bring our dogs on camp sometimes. So it's very special. That's why Sarina is amazing too.
Because she gets it, that you need that. You need that home comfort.
Exactly. So the dogs have the best time, and so do I, because when I go back to my room, it's like being at home. Not in tournament football, but in preparation, we get to bring our dogs, which is perfect.
That's so
Everyone
sweet.
needs an animal in their life.
I agree.
Yes.
Well, look, Chloe, I wish you all the love and strength and luck with everything that's to come. And thank you so much for sharing your story today. It's been great chatting to you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me on.